Okay, we're going to finish up our work here with equations of circles today. So this is our second day working with equations of circles. We're actually going to take a given equation today and manipulate it to write it in a form that we can find the center and the radius of, and then go ahead and graph it. And to do that, we're going to have to complete the square, which is an old concept that you've had back in your algebra days dealing with quadratic equations. So I got a couple examples here for you of what we're going to do. And I'll go through these, and then your homework is going to be specifically about this style of question tonight. So the question says the equation of a circle is given: x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 14y plus 40 equals 0. State the coordinates of the center and measure of the radius, and then graph it. All right, so the first thing we're going to have to do is take this form that they've given it in and convert it to this form. Okay, so we're going to take this equation that they've given us and we're going to convert it into our center radius form for a circle. Okay, so you can see right now I'm going to write a quantity x minus h binomial squared. I got to write a y minus k binomial squared and set it equal to r squared. So it's going to take a little work. Okay, but you've done this process before and hopefully it comes back to you as you see it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is you can see that we want to move our 40 from this side to the other side, and we're going to organize this side that remains into like terms. So the x squared and the x we're going to put next to each other, the y squared and the y term we're going to put next to each other. So if I do that, I'm going to rewrite it as x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 14y equals, and then moving the 40 over here, I get negative 40. Okay, now comes the unique part here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a x-based trinomial and a y-based trinomial that are perfect squares. Okay, and then whatever number I have to add to this side to make this a perfect square trinomial, I have to add the same number to the right. Whatever you add to the left, you got to add to the right. And then whatever number it takes to complete this square, okay, I got to add to both sides as well. Now, completing the square is not that difficult. Okay, what we're going to do to complete the square, we'll look right here at the x's, is take half of the coefficient of x. So half of 8 is 4. That's the number that's going to be in our binomial 4. So right now I know my binomial is x plus 4 quantity squared. Okay, now when you FOIL this, okay, x plus 4 quantity squared, it's x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay, now we got to FOIL first outside, inside, last. That'll give me x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. And then if I simplify it, I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. So I got the x squared plus 8x, x squared plus 8x. What number's missing to make this the perfect square trinomial? Well, it's 16. So if I put a 16 here, this trinomial, x squared plus 8x plus 16, is equal to x plus 4 squared. That's how we want it, x plus 4 squared. Now, if I add 16 to the left, I got to add 16 to the right. Okay, so that's the x's now are done. So now let's complete the square for the y's. Okay, the rule again is go to the y term here, take its coefficient, divide it by 2. If I divide it by 2, I would get 7, minus 7. If it's negative 14, it's negative 7 here. Okay, now I got to figure out what number goes here. Well, let's go ahead and square this thing. Y minus 7 squared is y minus 7 times y minus 7. Y squared minus 7y plus 49. You know, the negative 7 times negative 7 there. The last is positive 49. So I get y squared minus 14y plus 49. Well, I already got the y squared minus 14y. So what do we need? We got to add 49 to make this a perfect square trinomial that equals this binomial squared. If I add 49 to the left, I got to add 49 to the right. Okay, so I've got my x binomial squared. I got my y binomial squared when I needed them for this form up here. And now on the right side, I got negative 40 plus 16 plus 49, and that's 25. Okay, so now if I write it all together, it looks like this. So we've created now an equation that looks like the quantity of x plus 4 squared plus the quantity of y minus 7 squared equals 25. And that is just like our center radius form up here. Okay, one last thing I'll adjust is, remember, we want this to be a minus, and then the number that follows is the h number. So I'm going to write this as minus negative 4 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals, and again, this has got to be a base number squared, so that's 5. All right, so we're ready to go here. Identify the center and radius. Well, we know our center is negative 4, 7, h, k, and we know our radius is 5. So now we're going to go ahead and graph it. So when you graph it, you're going to plot your center, negative 4, 7, and then the radius of 5. What we typically do is, go from here horizontally 5 to the right, horizontally 5 to the left, vertically 5 down, and then go up 5, and then kind of rough a circle in. You have a graphing utility on Alex that'll do this pretty accurately for you. Okay? But that's the process. Complete the square for the x's, complete the squares for the y's. That allows you to write it in the correct form, and then you can pull the center and the radius out and graph. Okay, I got another one for you. All right, that we'll do together to make sure we're all getting it, and this will be your last example here. All right, so write the equation standard form. Right, we want to take it from this format that they've given it, okay, into this center radius form. All right, so we'll write the equation out. We want to move the constant, the number, to the right side and organize my variables. So it's going to be x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 4y equals positive 20. We're going to add 20 to both sides. Okay. Now I'm going to write it out so I can complete the square. And this little technique, I think, is very helpful, just to write these little blanks in there and know whatever I add to one side, add to the other, and so forth. Okay. So let's complete the square for the x's. Okay, the process is we're going to take half of the x's coefficient, so that's negative 1. All right, now if I square this binomial, I will see what I need to add to both sides to make this true. All right, so if we go x minus 1 squared, x minus 1 times x minus 1, FOIL it first, outers, inners last, and simplify. I got x squared minus 2x plus 1. So x squared minus 2x, I need that to be a 1. When that's a 1, this is what it's equal to, which is what we want. If I add a 1 to the left, I add a 1 to the right. Okay. All right. Now we got to complete the square for the y's. Okay. So the rule is take half of this coefficient. That's what's going in your binomial. So the 2's going here. Okay. Now, what needs to go in this blank? Well, if we FOIL it, we see. So it's y plus 2 squared. Okay. First, outers, inners, last. Combine like terms. Y squared plus 4y. I got y squared plus 4y plus 4. So I need a 4 here. I need a 4 there. Okay. So now we've completed the square for the y variables. And my right side becomes 25. Put it all together. Okay. It looks like this. Now write it in this format specifically so that I got a minus sign between my numbers, and this is a base number squared, and it's going to look something like this. So x minus 1 squared plus y minus negative 2 squared equals 5 squared. Okay, I can see my h is going to be 1, my k is going to be negative 2, and my r is going to be 5. So I identify the center at 1, negative 2, and the radius is 5. That's what I need to graph it. Come over here, go to my center, 1, negative 2, mark it. A radius of 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, 5 to the left, 5 up, 5 down. I think you just got to put these 2 in, and it creates a circle for you. All right, so that's what you're going to work on tonight, completing the square. Okay, and writing it in this center radius form and then graphing it. All right. There's some examples of this, I believe, in the lesson if you want to launch it and take a look at it. Your homework is going to be very specific to that process tonight. Without further ado, I will let you get going.